All right, guys. Jim Brandon, nerdlocker.com here. And this week on Twitter, if any of you still use Twitter or on Twitter, what I would have called fellow nerd Max Landis kind of went off on a little rant about the use of the word nerd.
Sunday night. And to be honest, I understand what he was trying to say to some extent, especially the parts where he was saying it's been kind of taken over by corporations trying to make money off of a certain crowd of people that like comic books and fantasy and video games and stuff. But it was a huge negative connotation he gave to it, and he basically said being a nerd's a bad thing.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the point he was trying to make, because as someone who, I have read comic books my entire life. I've been into comic books, video games, all this stuff my entire life. Didn't do much sports growing up. I played hockey for a long time, but other than that, I was really generalized as a nerd in school because of the things I was into, because it wasn't popular, because it wasn't that. And I understand where he's coming from with, I see people that, picked on me in middle school at the midnight screening for the Avengers. Yeah. And I understand what he's saying, and I understand where he's coming from, but I just didn't like the negativity of it.
That's what I mean. One of the reasons why we created Nerd Locker was to make the term nerd cool. I literally grew up in the 80s. I got my doctorate of all things goofy and nerdy in the 80s. I watched He-Man, G.I. Joe, Transformers, Cherry 2000, Star Wars, all sorts of sci-fi. Wasn't so much into fantasy, but Crawl, all these movies. I saw them, I watched them, but at the same time, I kept that part of me, not necessarily a secret, but for the most part, I was also an athlete. And that was what people knew me as. And I played soccer my whole life, and baseball and basketball. And that's what they knew me as. Now that we started Nerd Locker, I've been more free to just be who I've always been.
Yeah.
And talk about nerd stuff. Star Wars is my biggest love. And here, I'm able to talk about it endlessly. Whereas if I left our little community of Nerd Locker, people would tune me out.
I will say right now, my group of friends, Cubby is my roommate. Obviously, everyone we do here at Nerd Locker, we all talk about that stuff. And, I look forward to Comic-Con because it's a place you can go and just be in that culture. Whether somebody picks up 150 books on a month at their store, or picks up all the video games, or someone who just watches the Avengers movies. It's or someone that just watches movies and stuff. It's a place you can go to feel together and connected on this, because I will tell you right now, when I leave this and I go to my other job and no one gives two shits about anything I have to say. They don't care what it entails, a lot of people don't see it as that. So I understand what he's saying with, just cashing out on this, but I don't ever think it should be viewed as something you're ashamed of. Especially now, it is getting popular.
And it's made the community bigger and stronger.
Absolutely.
So that because Comic-Con's bigger, yeah, it's a pain in the ass that you can't walk the aisles freely. But at the same time, there's more of us to talk about these things.
Yeah.
So we are becoming a bigger part of the population.
I just feel like being into pop culture, being a nerd, is something that, we all used to get picked on growing up, or kept to ourselves growing up. And I like that now I can walk around with, Batman tattoo and
a Nerd Locker t-shirt.
Just
people love it.
Just being able to be open about this, and I just didn't understand his negativity to it. And this was just something we wanted to talk about, just to kind of be
well, he's
we're
not
not
because we've gotten comments on our YouTube page that have said, I don't want you to call me a nerd. I think it's derogatory. It's no, not in the least. Being a nerd is a good thing. Embrace it. There should not be a negative connotation with that.
So, Max Landis has done a lot. I thought he was considered a nerd and stuff like that.
I was shocked when I saw that Sunday.
I'm very proud to say that I am one, and not be ashamed of it. I don't think anyone should be, and I don't know. That's just my reason I wanted to talk about this week. But I don't know. Your thoughts, opinions on his rant on Twitter? Let us know.